I'm Harriet, the principal of Heavenly State College. This is my dilemma.
Harriet, I've just had 4 more enrolment interviews with new families. They were really impressed by our strict drug policy with immediate exclusion. News seems to be getting around about those 2 students we excluded earlier on in the year. Wasn't so good at the time, but it seems to be bringing some really great families to the door.
Great! Oh, hi Daniel. I've been meaning to catch up with you.
Hi, Miss.
It's nothing bad. I just wanted to congratulate you on the really great comments I've been getting from your teachers. Such a great improvement since the start of the year when there were a few complaints.
Yeah. Thank you.
You really lifted your game. Good on you.
Thanks.
How's your mum?
She's seeing a lot of doctors, but she is getting better and she just wants to get back to work.
Okay, well please give her my best.
Yeah, we'll do.
Alright, so have you thought about what you're going to do next year? It's the end of Year 12's only a few weeks away.
Yeah, so my boss suggested a TAFE course that he said might be really good for me, so he said I could also continue working for him while I study, so I might do that.
Oh, that's a fantastic idea. I'm so great to see that you're getting your life together.
Thank you.
And you're a really good role model for your younger brother.
Thanks.
Well done, Daniel.
Harriet, there's been an incident involving Daniel. I've got the incident report here. You got time to see him now?
Yep. Come in, Daniel. Daniel, at the school formal last night, you were found with a small amount of marijuana. It's 2 weeks before your final exams. If I exclude you now, you're not going to get your Year 12, you won't get your TAFE place, and you might even lose your part-time job. What am I going to do with you?
Harriet, thanks for giving me a call. We've been friends for a long time and we've helped each other through some tough calls. What's the problem now?
Okay, I don't know what to do about Daniel.
Okay.
So, he's breached the school's policy on drug use. I've worked really hard in the school to raise expectations, to make it a safe place for students. Earlier this year, I actually excluded 2 students.
Wow.
And, you know, I got a lot of support from the parents with my actions. But now I'm worried that excluding Daniel will have consequences for his future life, for his mum, for his younger brother. Daniel's come a long way. And if I take away his chance to graduate and get into a course, then that will provide him with a steady income and his family some security, then I'm failing him. What should I do?
Well, you know what? I can hear that you are actually in the middle of a big ethical dilemma. I can see that you're really upset and concerned, and this is one of those times when, you know, all that university theory might be able to help you. I actually brought along a paper to share with you that has this model that maybe we can walk it through. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Okay. You've identified the dilemma as whether you exclude Daniel or not. Let's talk through some of those competing values and using these post-it notes to represent some of the different dimensions. Well, I know you've got a professional code of ethics that you have had to sign up to work in this system. You've also got your own code of ethics where I know you want the best for your students. Another associated one is the legal requirements. You've got legislation telling you you've got a duty of care to report some issues, and drug taking is one of those. You've also got a duty of care to the rest of your students. There's the whole organisational culture that you've been building up within your school, and I know you've worked really hard about that. You're wanting to be supportive and really support both your students and your staff, but you've got a history of being tough on drugs and trying to really build up the expectation of zero tolerance. Then there's this whole idea of what's in the public interest. You've got a community expectation, and you know from all of those P&C meetings and talking with members of the public, they like you being tough on drugs. They don't want the neighbourhood being like it was 20 years ago. But you've also got a vested interest as an educator to challenge some of the low expectations that are coming out of a low socioeconomic population your school is serving. And you know, we all know that, you know, the importance of the global context. Some of our parents would say that drug taking isn't abnormal. That level of drug taking might be normal. And you also know that there's a social media background to this you've got to be aware of, and a desire for people to be aware of what's happening and be informed of your decision. All of these are those competing values, but what's really important is how you negotiate those. Your own set of values become very important. What are your values and your beliefs, and which ones are coming to the foremost? And that's going to lead you towards your choices. So you might take action at an internal level. You might take action at an external level. Your action might be informal, or it could be formal, or even you might decide to ignore the situation. These are where you have some choices, and it's worth mapping it out so you can think your way through.
No wonder I've been feeling so confused.
So your values are really important in helping you start to sort out your choices. So as you think through what some choices might be, it's often helpful to talk to somebody, a significant other, you know, ask, what would my mother or my partner think if I made these kinds of choices?
Okay, so here are my choices. I could take formal action to exclude Daniel from school. I could report his use of illicit drugs to the police. I could suspend Daniel from school, but allow him to take his final exams in a separate supervised facility. I could refer this incident to our Code of Conduct Committee, where he's given an advocate and there are staff and parent elected representatives. I could keep it informal and warn Daniel, give him detention, not formally record the incident. I could ignore it and say that it didn't happen on school property and therefore it's not my problem to deal with. Each of these has implications for Daniel, for his family, for the reputation of the school, and my own reputation as a school leader. I also need to remember that I'm setting a precedent for the next time something like this happens. I want to spend some time writing out some possible positive and negative consequences of each choice. That might help me rationalise a clear, acceptable response to the student, the staff, the school community and parents, the wider community, and to myself. What would you do?
Ethical dilemmas are complex and challenging. They're fundamentally about relationships and how we should behave. For Harriet, using a model like that helped make some of those competing values really clear. And she's going to find that some of her values will have priority in this case, and other values may be silenced. But it may help her explain her decision to others, because we expect leaders to be accountable and ethical. As a leader, you can learn from Harriet's case, and you can also use this framework to think through your own dilemmas. We'd really like to thank Professor Neil Cranston, Professor Lisa Ehrich, and Dr. Megan Kimber for their use of this case study, and you can read more of their work at the links associated with this video. We look forward to hearing what you've made from this idea.